Hey, my name is Raph Robinson. I live here in Austin, Texas, and today I'm just going to share my story with you. I moved to Austin back in 1997 from San Antonio, Texas. I moved here to go to the University of Texas, where I studied economics and business. Enjoyed my time in Austin, and in 2003 opened my first bar with a friend of mine, and I would say at that time I thought life was good. The intention was to make as much money and have power and influence. That was my goal. I would say that I spent a good portion of that time doing a lot of indulging in drinking, a lot of drugs, and living a lifestyle that I thought that would make me happy. But what I found was that fun, fast, wild lifestyle was killing me. Physically, I was destroying my body. Outwardly, you may not have been able to see it because I would still work out, but I was poisoning my body. From a spiritual aspect, I was killing my soul. There was a reason that when I woke up that day and had no idea why I couldn't stop crying, I had damaged my soul and my emotions so much and over such a long period of time that I just had no idea what I was doing to myself. What I found was one day I woke up and was incredibly sad, and I couldn't understand why. I was just crying and had no explanation. So I called a dear friend of mine who later turned out to be my wife, and said, I think there's something wrong with me. She advised that I maybe go see a counselor. I called my mom, and my mom said, son, you need to go to church and you need to get on your knees and pray, which I pretty much expected from my mom, but it wasn't necessarily the answer I wanted to hear. My previous experiences with church led me to believe that I would not find the answer in church. But the foundation that I was given told me that God was still the answer. So I started going to see a counselor, and I started going to church in Austin. And then I found myself on this trip to Mexico. During the course of that trip, I had a life-changing experience. I had a dream, and in that dream, there was a struggle. And the funny thing is, the struggle was men were trying to steal the wheels off of my car. And I was wrestling with them. And I would get one down, and then I would have to fight the other. And it was just this constant struggle until somebody walked up and they said, "Why don't you just let him go?" And that was the end of the dream. And I didn't know what it meant, which later I found out that Jesus was looking at me and saying, "Raph, why don't you just let this go? You're struggling to keep and hold on to these things that really don't mean anything in my kingdom. Why don't you just let them go? Because once you let them go, you will be able to experience freedom and the life that you thought you wanted, and the fulfillment that you've been seeking can happen when you let those things go." So I've thought about the question of where would I be if I had not made a decision to follow Jesus. And it's hard to say, but I think that I would still be trapped in this lifestyle, and not necessarily in a nightlife lifestyle, but in a lifestyle of more. And what I mean by that is that it's never enough, because nothing that we try to put in the place of God and Jesus in our lives will ever be enough. And so we keep looking for more, and we keep looking for more. And I think I would have been trapped in the more. So if I were to give 3 adjectives for my life with Jesus, I would say fun, wild, and adventurous. So as Slab is, turned this corner of being successful, we've gotten all these great accolades, from Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives, Man vs. Food. We've been on the Travel Channel. We've been, featured in a bunch of different places, for this great food and concept that we've done. And my business partner, he's a genius when it comes to food and the creativity that he's created. But I think it's really important for us to remember and to always be seeking God's will in all of this, and understand why that attention is coming. We believe it's our responsibility to be a light in our community. And so when the spotlight is shown on us, our job is to not say, look at me, but our job is to reflect Jesus's light, and to be a reflection of the goodness that God has, been in our lives, so that we can hopefully inspire others